Good afternoon, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. Hope you all had a wonderful week. I had a great week myself. So we've had some interesting moves in the market, and it still looks pretty interesting. But interesting, I always mean that it looks a lot clearer. So we're gonna look at start with the cryptocurrencies, and we're gonna look at the measures. That is the US dollar pairs, then yen pairs, pound pairs, euro pairs, and some of the cross pairs as well. Right, so hope you were watching last week and you enjoyed some of the nice setups that we had, especially on Bitcoin. Everything is playing out as we had expected. Right, so let's first do things this first. If you are watching this, you may want to look at, let's just have a look here. On the description, under the description of all my videos, you will find timestamps for all the pairs that we're going to look at tonight. It's over 40 pairs that we look at, even though we don't go into details, but we do go into higher time frames. That is enough to show you direction for the next couple of days or sessions. So under the description of the videos, you click on the show more tab. If you click on the show more tab right down, I think it's before the comments, yes, on the show more tab, if you click on there, it will pop this up. Okay, so every pair that we discuss will be linked. So if you're looking for euro US dollar, for example, you just click on euro US dollar and it will take you to the euro US dollar analysis straight there. So you don't have to scroll around and toggle around and look for the pairs that you're looking for. So this helps a lot. All right, so that's how it works. For those that are interested in the course, the next course is going to be on the 4th of March. For more details on the course, send me an email, or any other of my contact details that is listed under the description of the videos. So you can send via WhatsApp or Telegram. I prefer WhatsApp or email. Either one of them should work. But if you try to send an inquiry through TradingView inbox, I may not see that because I don't check that inbox as often. But if you send it on email, you'll get a response quicker than any other method, also on WhatsApp and on Telegram as well. All right, so also there's a bit of detail there about the dates, 4 to 14th of March. That is when the next course starts. All right. So for more details of what you'll get on when you send an email, you'll get the timing of the course, you'll get the schedule and the course content, and also the whole content. All right, let's get started now with today's analysis. As we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, we are going to start with the cryptocurrencies and specifically Bitcoin to start with. I have been tracking these for the last, since the beginning of this year. I even changed the format of the videos a bit. So we start with the cryptocurrencies because they're starting to make interesting moves, as I have been saying for the longest time. Right? So I'm not going to go into the details of into the higher time frame on this one. You can watch the previous video. So I'm just going to show you on to what is happening right at the end here. If you want a higher time frame analysis, you can watch last week's video. Everything that we discussed last week is still valid and playing out as expected. So I'm going to look at this piece now and see, so we can see whether what we're looking at in the higher time frame is still in play. All right, let's see this here. Right, just getting my annotation tool sorted here. So this is what we have. Higher degree, we've had a move up, we had a pullback, we had another pullback here, and we are looking at this structure at this stage. This correction here, let's do it cleanly. That, there, and we're looking for this one to do that. And soon after that, we will be looking for this to do something like this. Even if it goes and retests there, it should still be fine, because then that will just be a expanding flash. So we're looking for this move, and then we'll be looking for this to then go from there. So what the move that we are looking for to happen now is this one. It has not happened as yet. Okay, we're still looking here for continuation to the downside. Okay, so as I shown last week, this current move that we're looking at here is still this one here. I just don't want to throw it here so that because it's going to look skew. So if we have a structure like this, this is what it looks like. we had a three-wave pullback. We have a pullback in this degree here, which we're going to call, we're going to label in red, that is A, and the whole three-wave structure here is a B structure, and then you're going to have this whole red being an X wave. So that means this is a degree. Okay, so that's what you have, and then you will look for this to complete. So now you're going to have 1, you're going to have 2, and you're going to have 3. So this is the structure. This is what it looks like. So you left that correction over there. So it's easier to look at this in structure. So if you wanted to get in deeper with this, you could have another labeling here, which is A, the whole thing here being a B, and the whole thing then being a C. So you can go through the whole process going down all the way to the lowest time frame. So let's have a look at this piece and see what this is giving us. All right, so let's go on to the 4-hour on Bitcoin. This is what I gave you last week. But before we talk about last week, we're going to talk about what we were doing for the last couple of weeks. And this is how we have been tracking this week for week. And I have been saying that we don't trade as much as we know how to focus and we know the direction. Sometimes, even if you know the direction, you don't have to trade this. We focused this direction, each and every structure on this direction. I've been focusing since the beginning of this year. So this is what we had in the beginning of the year, as I've been showing for the last couple of weeks. When we started, we had this structure, which when we came here, I said it's going to drop. But I did say we are not really trading this because this is a corrective structure. The following week, we had this one. This was the 4th week of January, the last week of January, because we started resumed the webinars on the 14th. So this was the second webinar that we did. We had this structure, which we said is going to drop as well. 3rd week, it was amazing how this was just repeating week after week after week. 1, 2, let's do this. So I'm drawing cleanly. This was 2, 2nd week, 3rd week, and then the 4th week. And it just kept dropping like that. And we kept getting the exact same structure, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It was amazing. It was just repeating. You would not have thought that it was gonna happen the 4th time, would you? Now it happened the 4th time, amazingly. Okay, and then it kept dropping. Every single time it does that, it drops. Every time it does that, it drops. Every time it does that, it drops. And every time it does that, it drops. So I have said before we had this move to the upside that this is going to break out of the structure. Okay, and when it breaks out of the structure, then you're going to be getting this move to the upside. And that is the structure that you got. You had a pulsing move. Last week, I showed you that this is going to break to the upside. I think it was for 2 weeks. It stayed in here for 2 weeks, and then it broke eventually, and it consolidated here, and now it pushed up here. So this is what we said it was going to happen. I said this was going to break here and then come down. So don't be surprised if it breaks here and then comes down, or it reverses at current levels. So that is what we expected. So this is how we looked at this setup in our group. So just to show you how it works in the group. So what we do here, I do not show you stop areas and take profit areas. I just focus the direction for you. So you need to use your own specific strategy to do this. So this is what we do. So on Bitcoin, so we've got a special channel here where I post the setups when we see them. So let's have a look at this one here. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. So this is the Bitcoin setup. So here it will show you where to put it in the stop. When we have clear setups like this one, it becomes easier. So this is what we're looking at for this to break out of this, and which it did. And this was the target, which has now been hit, even though I expect a slight push higher before we drop, because then that will complete this 1, 2, 3 wave structure for downside. Can you see how amazing this is? So this is the benefit that you get for being in our group. You get these setups before they happen. So this one was on one of those clear setups from the structure. 1, 2, 3 we saw, 1, 2, 3 we saw, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And even though we were looking at this, this was not a tradable structure. It was short moves. You don't want to trade this because they always keep reversing those gains. So the type of moves that you want is these ones that are quick and faster, like this one. That's why you get a trade. All right, and it's important to always sit on your hand when there is nothing clear. Look at this one. It was clear, crystal clear, and easy to take if you understood the strategy. All right, so that was Bitcoin. All right, so what are we expecting here? Let's see. It looks like right on the, just before, just a few points before the target, it has reversed, but this is not confirmation as yet. If we start seeing something like this, if this now becomes a structure like this, then and then this starts correcting outside this, then it means that this structure would have ended at that level. But I believe that we may still get a little bit more up, because then that will complete this whole structure like that. Before we go, remember, this is what we have always been expecting. Even when we were buying, when I said this was going to go up, this was that move I said it was going to happen. Said it was going to be a corrective structure, and then we're going to come down before we go. So let's see if this is all the move that we're going to get, or if it's going to push a little bit higher. The fact that it has made this strong candle to the downside does not mean anything at this stage, until we see a clear change in structure. All right, so that is what that looks like on Bitcoin. So the other pairs, cryptocurrencies, would have similar structures. Let's have a look what we're looking at here. So this one, this is Litecoin now, which we looked at as a corrective structure. This is the corrective structure that we looked at Litecoin, and we did say that this was gonna, this one is actually complete now. Let's see here if we don't have a blue box at that point. Okay, I didn't project the blue box, and this is actually reversing right on the blue box area. So now if they start correcting here and they show entry, that will mean that this structure has now completed, and this is what you're going to have. This is what you're going to have. This structure will be completed like that. Okay, so this will be a 1, 2, 3 up. Let's use yellow. 1, 2, 3 up. 1, 2, 3 down. 1, 2, 3 up. WXY move, and the drop. This one is even clearer than Bitcoin in terms of structure. Bitcoin is still missing a few points for it to be a complete cycle, but this one is complete. So Bitcoin may just reverse with this one as well. So let's see how this one goes. You start getting corrective structures, you start looking for downside, and you will specifically be looking for these to be out of this channel here. You'll be looking for it to get out of this channel. Let's see how that plays out. It will be very interesting. All right. Great. So the cryptos are looking very clear. So this is Litecoin now, and then we're going to be looking for that move. But don't be surprised if, like I said on Bitcoin, if we get this one to push a little bit higher for one more, and then we drop like that. Let's see how that goes. You should be getting divergence as well. You should have got divergence when that was happening. It was a very strong divergence, as you can see there as well. Very strong divergence there. Okay, so let's see corrective structure and downside. All right, Ethereum. Looking at Ethereum, similar. Can you see Ethereum is almost exactly like Bitcoin? So in terms of structure on Ethereum, it does not look complete. So it has reversed right here after taking here, which we expected, but we wanted it to be a little bit like this and then come down. Okay, but let's see what we get from there. So also here, you will only get a confirmation of the reversal here if we get a corrective structure here. Then this will have been a 1, 2, 3 wave structure, and then we're looking for downside. Nothing wrong with this structure in terms of the rules and the guidelines that we use for this to be one of the corrective structures. So that will be valid. Let's see if we get a corrective structure there for downside. Okay, so for all the cryptocurrencies, these down moves are those last ones that we're expecting before we get the moves to the upside. So that's why it's important now to start holding cryptocurrencies for the long term, because you're going to get very close to zero on most of these cryptocurrencies. Because what we have been getting, and what I've been saying, is that these are corrective structures, and when they complete, you're going to get one more down. So how far will that one more down come? So we just know that it's going to be as close as possible to zero, and when that is happening and it's making a new low here, and that we should be getting very strong divergence. So this one will make a new low. The RSI should be making a new high So you should have that strong divergence that will tell you that the price is about to reverse. Okay, so for now, this is what you have. This is the structure that you have. Drop, new low here. This is the low, new low here. You should be getting very strong divergence between these points, between this point and the point that you're going to have here on Ethereum. Okay, so let's see how that one plays out. So this one should just make a new high if that is the case, and then you get that divergence, diverting like that. Okay, still a bit fast, so let's see how that goes. For now, you're just looking to take advantage of these down moves if they're complete. That's Ethereum, and then Ripple. Let's have a look here. So Ripple also, you made this corrective structure here, a pulsing move up, and this one is a correction, 1, 2, 3 waves. So now it looks like this structure, 1, 2, 3. Now we're looking for downside. This one has made a one in the corrective structure, and then we're looking for the, sorry, this is what this one looks like. It has already made a move to the downside, a pullback, and we're now looking for downside. So if you get a corrective structure here, this one may be looking downside. Clearing this level means we're going to go then as close as possible to the zero level as the rest of the cryptocurrencies. It's almost time to start holding these cryptos in long term, not just trading them here on this platform. So you maybe want to open the normal wallets that you use to buy these long term and hold them. All right, those are the cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ripple. Right, so let's also look at the indices. Indices have been going as we expected. So this has been easy trading and easy analysis for the last couple of weeks. Okay. So I've indicated from last year when this structure was forming here, this is S&P 500, that we've got a three-wave structure here. This is what we have when we looked at it as an expanding flat. Whether it was dropping with strong moves, it doesn't matter. We'll look at structures. So we don't get excited when you've got these big moves to the downside. So now we're looking for this one to go and make new highs. Okay, said that even last year, even when this was dropping with the strong moves to the downside here, a lot of people thought this was going to, the market was crashing. So you need to understand the sequence and the cycle to understand where you are in terms of price. So that was no way a move that was going down. That was a corrective structure, and we looked at it as such. So now all you're gonna do is to look for these small corrective structures until you get to break that level for the wave 5. We're looking for the wave 5 here in higher degree. Look at for the previous videos this year on this, and you will see I've done an analysis and shown why I have been looking for this one to push higher and higher in the last couple of weeks. Okay, it's because this is a degree, this is a fourth wave in the blue degree, which I will show just now. Let's show this now. Excuse the clutter there. So even though that was coming down here, we knew that we were gonna get to go for a new wave 5, this wave 5 here, right? So if you look at the whole structure, that is what we have. You see, this is what you don't usually see, because I don't go through this whole thing here on this webinar. This is what we do in the group. So if you have this structure, you will understand the overall view of the market. For somebody who does not understand the structure, they'll just come here and they start looking at 1, 2, 3, and expect a 5, maybe a correction, and expect downside. So that is why some people will think the market is crashing if you don't understand the sequence. This is one of those simple ones that you could not have missed if you understand the theory correctly. Right now, we've got this one here. We've already moved from 220, 230s on S&P 500. Now we're looking at the 279s. We're looking for it to break here and go for a wave 5. So we keep buying the indices. That is S&P 500. The Dow will be exactly the same as the S&P 500. It's exactly the same structure. Let's look at it in the higher degree. You can see it's exactly the same structure on the Dow, no difference at all. They go together. That is what you have. You've got a corrective structure. You've got this one pushing higher now. All corrective structures are opportunities to buy. They're not done yet. We're still looking for a push higher. Okay. So that is the Dow. I'm not going to even going to let it load the whole chart. Let's move on to the next one. This is the Dow. Now we're going to look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is only slightly different to the other pairs, to the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, in that let's show the NASDAQ and why it's slightly different. Okay, it's loading the NASDAQ. So the difference between the NASDAQ and the rest is that the NASDAQ is not giving us this expanding flat. Why are we not looking at this as an expanding flat? We've got rules and guidelines. This does not qualify to be a flat correction. So there is no relationship between this and that. So it was only this structure that was corrective, even though there was a clear correlation. This was the structure that we were looking at. With 5-wave move down there, making this an A, making this a B, and a C move. So A, B, C, and we looked for it to push higher. So this was quite easy. So this is still pushing higher. We're still gonna push higher, and we're looking for this to break new highs as well, because we're also looking here for a wave 5 to complete the move. Now, after a wave 5, then we're gonna expect that correction that most people were expecting to be happening here. Okay. So now if we go to the lower degree here in the 4-hour, you still expect to do the same. Every corrective structure is an opportunity to enter. So every time you get these kind of pullbacks, on all the indices, S&P 500 and the Dow, every time you get corrective structures like this, pullbacks like this, currently you're getting this one, these are opportunities to get in and hold. Okay, opportunities like this, you get in and you hold it. Okay, still gonna go up. Let's see what it looks like on the indicator. There is no divergence as yet. No real divergence as yet. So this may still make a high. So there's no divergence. The indicator is doing exactly what the price is doing. So there's no sign of reversal on the indices at this stage. Right, so that is the NASDAQ. Now we look at, let's start with the Nikkei before we go to the DAX. So the Nikkei, same. So Nikkei is quite clear in terms of structure and what we're looking at. So this is the structure on Nikkei. Can you see? 1, 2, 3. Easy. But it's easy in hindsight. When this is forming, you can't really see it, and you panic when you see market moves like what was happening here towards the end of the year when this was happening. Okay. All right. So it's not about, as I always say, it's not about proving anybody wrong. It's about making money. If you make money out of the move, then great. But if you just do this to prove that you are right without making anything out of it, then it doesn't really help. Right. So this was a clear 3-wave structure. 1, 2, 3. That is 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3 there. Everything was just perfect WXY structure, and then we're looking for this one to push higher, possibly even break and make new highs as well. So that structure was quite easy. We looked at this as a expanding flat. Okay, so now same, you keep looking for entries. At some point though, you may get a deeper corrective structure before you go and hit that level. But let's keep an eye and keep buying the small moves. That is the Nikkei and the DAX. Okay, and the DAX, also, we are actually forecasted that this will reverse around this area. That blue box has been on there since last year. We forecasted that this was going to reverse there, and now we started this move to the upside. Okay, so now keep buying every time you get pullbacks similar to these ones. These are corrective structures here. 1, 2, 3, expanding flat there. Now you're getting this push higher. Every time you get something similar, even if it's in the lower degree, you keep buying, you keep buying, you keep buying. Okay, you need to see what happens when it comes to the upper boundary of the channel and see if we're going to have any change of structure, maybe a deeper corrective structure that will propel us even higher for new highs. You can see that all of them are in correlation because we're all looking for them to give us the blue degree wave fives. Let's do the I've moved here. Okay, so that we are looking for them to give us the blue degree wave 5, all of them. Okay, very clear. That is the DAX, Nikkei we've done. And lastly, on the indices, let's look at the Nifty. Spot on, right on, as we've indicated even the last week as well. So now you've got 1, 2, 3 there. You've got 1, 2, 3. Let's see what we get here. If this is now going to be, okay, let me just check here, the structure. Let's do the structure properly. Watch last week's video on how we looked at this as well. 1, 2. And here you've got 1 running flat there, 3 waves. So that makes 3 there. That's why it's a W. Now, pull back here is also a 3-wave move. Now here we forecasted that this was going to be a 1, a 2, and a 3-wave move. So this move could have completed making a WXY move. If that is the case, then this may make a bit of a pullback like that. So let's see what we get here. So it can make a move like this and do something like this. For now, not very clear, but as far as the structure is concerned, there's no clear setup here until we get what is going to happen here. So let's have a look. So there's also a possibility that, let's see here. There's also this possibility. I want to clear this, and this will be a very clear structure. I think that should actually be the first alternative. That the 3 waves that is happening here on the Nifty is this one. 1, 2, and 3. Let me clear and explain that. Right, so then your lower degree here will be this here. This is what your B wave will look like here. 1, 2, 3. So you've got an expanding flat in the middle there in green. So what does this structure look like now? Now you've got a W, you've got an X, and then you've got a Y. Your Y should be the structure or the next leg that is happening here. Where's that Y? It is this move that I started here. Now this will make sense for this to follow the other indices. So now what you will have here is a structure like this. 1, 2, sorry, 2 like that, and then a 3. And that gives you this blue 3-wave corrective structure before we get the move to the downside. For now, let's look for that upside. So we are going to look for upside in the next session on the Nifty. This is a clear setup that you can look to enter. If you're trading the Nifty is going to push a little bit higher in the next week, and as soon as it breaks out of this structure. Okay, so check that one out. You've got a clear pulse and a correction. It needs to make another pulse at least to the upside before any other move. All right, let's now look at, we can look at the Sun pharmaceutical stock from India. We've been looking at this for the last year or so for one of my traders. I just do this one because I've been looking at this pair for a while. Okay, so last week we had a move here, we had a pulse, we had a big corrective structure, we had a move to the upside. This was not complete. So what is happening here, you may be getting a sideways structure. 1, 2, 3. This one comes back to retest there. So you're gonna get a sideways move. You've got a 3-wave move up. You're gonna have 1, 2, 3 back. Maybe even a move like that. That will make this a whole corrective structure. That will then drop to the downside like that. Easy. So let's watch and see what this structure will be. So this may be a very slow structure, similar to what you had when Bitcoin was making that corrective structure to the downside that eventually pushed higher. So you may be getting this one as well, the same thing, and then eventual push to the low side, to the lower, before we get a move to the upside. Right, so now let's get into the major pairs and see what we are looking at here now. Let's start with the US dollar pairs. The majors, we start with the Euro US dollar. Okay. Euro US dollar, nothing has changed in terms of the structure that we've been looking at for the last couple of days. I'm going to start with the daily. The structures are very clear. So I'm going to look right at the bottom. You know by now that we are looking for this move all that came down here, and we're assuming that at this stage this is the orthodox low, and what we're getting here is a corrective structure that is starting there. Now we're looking at this corrective structure to give us a clue whether we're going to get continuation to the downside. I'm expecting continuation to the downside, but only after this corrective structure is complete. And this is where it gets complicated to understand the sequence and the cycle of a corrective structure, and where it starts, where it ends, and the signs that you see that it has ended. So let's have a look at and see what we are looking at this as. We are looking at this as a move here to the upside, okay? And now looking at this one as a structure here like this. So let me just do this quickly. Let me show the labeling that I have here. So this I'm looking at as a 3-wave move like this. Now, what we're expecting here is that we may be getting a corrective structure, which we'll look at as an X, and then we'll look for another 3-wave structure. It does not have to be exactly the structure that I'm focusing here. It can be any other structure. Now, if we get a structure like that, that would make this a WXY structure. Okay, initially we were looking at the WXYXZ, but you can see now that the X has corrected the whole move. So this invalidates the WXYXZ. So it's just going to be a WXY in the higher degree. So that's what we're going to look at, right? So let's have a look. Now we're getting this corrective structure here. That is giving us a clue that we may be getting that move to the upside. So let's watch on the 4-hour on Euro US dollar. If we get a break to the upside, we may be getting a move, a nice move, because we've already started 1, 2, 3 up. 1, 2, 3. Now this is correction here. Now we're looking at this one to give us another move like that. Then this will start a WXY move to the upside. Okay, not a pulsing move, because this cannot be a pulsing move, can only be a 3-wave move. We've got 3 up, we're getting correction, then we can get another move to the upside. So let's watch for the next coming session how this is going to play out. Let's have a look at this. So we've got the strategy that we use to confirm this entry. So we will see and we will know when this is confirmed for upside. Okay, so this is playing out exactly as forecasted for up to this stage. Right, so that is Euro US dollar. Let's go through the other pairs. So you can look at the DXY as well. The DXY is just the opposite of what is happening in the Euro. So let's see, this is the structure, the corrective structure on the DXY. Break below here could be getting us more downside. So more downside on the DXY, more upside on the Euro. So you can see this has always been the forecast way before this happened. This was the structure. Even though we were expecting that we're going to have a Z there, we're expecting a Z move to the downside, but it's playing out exactly as analyzed. Let's look at US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD, as I said last week, it will not make structural sense for this to just make. Let's just show the higher degree first a little before we go to the lower time frame and see what we're looking at on this pair. So let's switch everything off. So we looked at this structure, at this whole corrective structure, and then we understood what was happening there. Okay, and then we forecasted exactly where this was going to turn, as has happened there, over 600 pips drop. Is this complete to the downside? We've made now this move to the downside. As I said last week, this has now made a pulsing move to the upside. It does not make structural sense for this to just come back down like this. So for this to make sense, this structure that is coming down here, even if it's going to come and retest this low here, must at least go back and retest before we get a drop, so that you can get a structure like this, maybe a 3-wave structure like this. Okay, then it will make structural sense. We are now coming down with this move. It's looking corrective. I doubt that it will break this level, because if it breaks this level, then it invalidates the wave principle, and we're going to have to relook at the structure and how this is playing out. All right. So let's see how this one goes. All right, so let's continue then. So this is the pulse correction pulse that we're going to look at before any move to the downside. So let's see, only this clearing this level, then we'll see that we're going to be looking for a move similar to that one. It's another 600 pip drop, but I'm expecting that we're gonna retest the high before we drop. That's US dollar CAD, US dollar CHF. We're expecting euro up, so this one may correct and get a bit of a pullback while euro is going up and the DXY coming down. So this should come down with the DXY because it's got a US dollar as a base pair. So that's how easy that one is. If you look at this one in the 4 hour, you can look at that corrective structure. Let's look at the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, this is what you have. It's also coming down in 3 waves. 1, 2, 3 down. Now it's making this corrective structure, could do something like this. Okay, let's see how that one plays out. You're in correction, you wait for it to play out first before you take any trade. That's your US dollar CHF, pound US dollar. Okay, pound US dollar looking very interesting. So one of the members were showing me a setup that I showed in July last year on pound US dollar. And this is what we're looking at. When we had this move to the downside, I showed that we're going to have a move here that is going to do this. And I also showed when we come down to this level, we are going to possibly have a move like this. That will make this expanding flat. Okay, and this was only shared in the group. Let me just show you what that looks like and where to get it. So this is not this one here. Let's see if I can find the last one. So this is what we shared in the group last year, because we've got this long-term daily charts that gives you direction. Can you see how many moves that it has made here? So we've got this one, we've got this move here. This was in our group last year. As you can see, this was October, some between September and November. It was October. And then we focused that we're going to have a push higher, and then we're going to have a move to the downside. That move is that one that ended with a capitulated move here. And then after this, obviously, you expect a move like this. This is the move that is happening currently. Where, as I've been saying, we'll be looking to get this one to retest the top here and then a drop. Okay, so let's have a look here. So this is how it works. So in the group, this is what we do. So on each channel pair, each and every pair has got its own channel. As we're looking at pound US dollar now, let me just show you how it works, just to give you an idea on of what we do in our group. To be in the group, you need to have attended the course. Only people that have attended the course can be in the group. So this is what this one looks like. I pin these long-term charts in the group like this. Let's have a look. This was the June one, the September one. Let's see if we can not there. Is it there? Okay, let's have a look here. This was the October one. This is the one that I was showing you. See, this is pinned in all the channels. We put in long-term daily charts in these channels on Slack, so members can have access to them. Okay, you can see how long that has been valid for. So this was another one. On pound, this was a lower degree. This was a 240 now, expecting this drop now and a move up before we come to the downside. Okay, so this is amazing. It's amazing how this one plays out. And even when you look at it in hindsight, and the fact that we focus it before it happens, that's what makes it very interesting. All right, so let's carry on here with today's work. Let's have a look here. I've lost my chart here. Let's have a look. Okay, back to the current move. So this is that forecast that I made when we were here, that we're gonna pop up, push higher, we're gonna come down, the capitulated move, and we've been looking for this move to the upside since the beginning of the year. We had a pulsing move to the upside, and now we're looking at this one here. But this could be a 1, 2, 3 wave move here. The same thing that you have here, 1, 2, 3 wave move here, 1, 2, 3 wave move here. So you could be getting a move to the upside for one more on pound. So this will make this a possible expanding flat. So this could be expanding flat. Please hold on a second, guys. Right, let's carry on, guys. So this is what this will look like. 1, 2, 3. We're looking for this one here. You've got a corrective structure here. You're looking for this one to go and push for one last one to the upside, at least to retest that level if we're going to get any drop to the downside. So this is your structure for the next week. Let's go 4 hour. If you look on the 4 hour, if you go on the 4 hour, you can see that you're getting this nice corrective structure here. Nice corrective structure that will break to the upside. So this could be a nice one to start the week with as soon as this one breaks to the top. We're looking for this one to start the week with. Okay, so that is your setup for the next week on pound US dollar. AUD US dollar. Okay, AUD US dollar. Would have expected that this one drops now, but because euro is now going to be pushing up, so we'll expect the AUD to also push slightly higher with a move like this. It has made a 3-wave move here like that, and then a drop. So I would be expecting that even if this is going to make a corrective structure, this is not the move that is going to drop, that is going to reverse AUD US dollar. We're still going to have a push to the low side like that, making this a 1, 2, 3-wave move before we push higher. Let's see what happens here. Not the clearest one to look at this stage, but in terms of the long-term view, this one needs to give us this one leg down. Let's look at it in the daily. You'll see it very clearly that we've made a pulsing move, not a pulsing move, it's actually a pulsing move to the upside, and now we're making this corrective structure here like this. So this is why I'm saying we need this move to the downside. So whatever's going to be happening here may just be a corrective structure. That's why I'm saying you don't necessarily need to trade this even if you're looking at euro up. So this may just be a correction for further downside, and then we get a structure like this. Okay, that's the AUD US dollar. New Zealand should be similar to AUD. Let's have a look here. Also, you have got a move down, you've got a corrective structure. So this one is making a move to the downside like this. So here you had 1, 2, 3 there. You're also having a 1, 2, 3. That is the structure that you'll be looking at, making this a 3, 3, 3 wave structure. So let's see how this one goes. We'll be looking for a structure like that. Okay, so next couple of days, this corrective structure here. You can see that it's related to the overall, to the higher degree view that we're looking at on this. That's New Zealand. Now, lastly, on the US dollar pairs, we can look at US dollar ZAR. So US dollar ZAR, we actually looked for a trade to the downside in the group, which does not look likely at this stage again. So let's have a look in the 4 hour, see what is going on here. So US dollar ZAR made this move to the upside. So this is the orthodox high. When you look at this, you need to see what the price is doing. We've made this move to the downside. I thought this was the pulsing move that we're going to start, and we're going to get a corrective structure, and I wanted to take advantage of this one, but that was not the move. So what is happening here now, you can see that we've made that move. We've made a reversal. We are now making this 3-wave structure, which can be something like that. Only if we get a corrective structure like this will we then get that move to the downside. The same thing that we're expecting on US dollar CAD. This structure to play out before we look for the drop. Remember, there's a correlation between US dollar CAD and US dollar ZAR. So this is what you're going to be looking at. If you get a push to the upside on the ZAR, US dollar ZAR, that may not be a reversal. It may just be a corrective structure. So just look at it like that. So let's wait for this one to play out here. You've got a clear pulsing move, but you've got another pulsing move in the lower degree. Corrective structure, move like that. That may be a corrective structure that will then take us down like that. Okay, so those are the US dollar pairs. Now let's look at the yen pairs. We're going to start with pound JPY. I gave you pound JPY last week. We're also trading this one. It has already moved up about 150, 200 pips since last week, and this is how it looks in the setup that we look at in our group. So just looking at the setups. So remember, there's a difference between a forecasting and a trade setup. So this was a trade setup. Let's go to trade setups. This way I post all my setups for whenever we get moves like this. So you can see this was February the 18th, just before this one pushed higher. I posted this one. I even made another update a few hours before it pushed higher. If you look at this here, I think there is another update. So this was the next update after that first one, just before it pushed up higher, because we wanted it to break from there. And this one has now moved, as you've seen, a couple of hundred pips. We've already cleared this level, which means then we are still going to push higher. I said target 156 in the next couple of weeks. That looks far, but this pair has got a tendency to move very fast. Now let's look at what is happening right now. So this was the setup. Entry was here, waiting for this to break to the upside. So those who missed it here can still get an opportunity here. Okay, so those who took it here can now protect their profits and run this risk-free, and then we'll be looking for this one to push higher. So this is a clear flag when you're gonna need to wait for it to break to the upside. Okay, remember, it does not go in a straight line. You are always going to get moves like this. Even if you're holding this long term, you're also always going to get this, and this may be a bit of a difficult task for some that are not able to hold long-term trades, because here nothing was happening. It keeps down, reversing, nothing really is happening. So it becomes an emotional roller coaster. That's why when you take a trade, you need to set it and forget it, and only move when you have to move to break even. So that's part of the strategy, the clear strategy that we use to know when to move to break even, when to hold, when to exit. Okay, so that is pound yen, looking very good now. You keep holding it and see how that one goes. All right, so let's carry on. So US dollar yen. Now US dollar yen, let's have a look here. So when this structure was happening here, I expected that it was going to do something like this, bit of a drop and then go up. But nothing wrong with the way that it is moving. Let's have a look at it. You've got a pulsing move here at the top. Looks like it made a three-wave move with a running flat in the middle here. And it's making another three-wave move there. So if it is doing this, this is still part of this correction. So you could have this one as a W, X, and then a move to the upside. So US dollar yen may still go up, even if this can be a corrective structure. That can eventually do something like this. And if it does something like this, then it's a whole corrective structure. Then we'll look for this one to push even higher. Okay, so let's see how this one plays out. It's a corrective. You'd rather want, if you want to trade the yen, you'd rather want to trade the pound yen and not US dollar yen. This one you'll only trade if you get this structure. If you get a break outside of this structure needs to be confirmed, must be complete, and then break to the upside. Then you will look for upside here. But remember, when that upside may just do something like this, making this a three-wave structure. So maybe not the safest trade. You need to manage it closely if you're taking that one. Euro yen. Okay, let's look at euro yen. Okay, euro yen. Similar, right at the top there, you'll be looking for this structure to complete like this and push a little bit higher. Okay, we're still looking for more upside. We've got this pulsing move. We've got this one as a correction. We've got this one looking like that. So let's have a look here if we're gonna have any reversal anytime soon here. Okay, nothing has changed at this point. We're still looking for this one to push a little bit higher. So the theme for the yen pairs is going to be a little bit of a push higher for most of them. So you're correcting there. We're looking for a push up. CHF should be similar. I've shown the exact structure why we're looking for upside last week. So you can have a look at the last week's video. Just go and click on euro yen. Same thing here. You're getting 1, you're getting 2, you're getting a 3 there. You're looking for this one to push a little bit higher. Okay, so that is CHF as well. So we're still looking for this structure to give us a pulse and the whole correction there, and a move to the upside like that, giving us this as a three-wave structure. Okay, so we're still looking for that one more up. Okay, that's CHFJPY. So this can still do this pulse, correction, pulse, becomes a correction and a push higher. Audi. Loading the Audi. So Audi, let's have a look at the Audi. So Audi is interesting because you've got this one that looks like a pulsing move down here. Three-wave structure. Now I've got a pulsing move here, so this could be making this structure like this. It's interesting because the other pairs are looking upside. So this one in the next couple of sessions may do this and look for downside. So that will confirm this whole structure before we go. So a slight push to the upside for all the yen pairs. Let's see whether it's going to be making this structure if it pushes higher. But if this becomes corrective, then it's going to confirm this structure, and that will be this whole pulsing move and a pulsing move to the upside. Not very clear at this stage because this can just be making a running flat like that, a 1, a 2, and a 3 before it goes. So even if it is this alternative, we'll be looking for a slight push higher in the next coming sessions. So for now, we're still looking upside. We're still looking upside. Nothing to confirm downside at this point. That's Audi New Zealand similar. So the New Zealand. So New Zealand also has a similar structure that on this leg here, making what looks like an expanding flat there. 1, 2. Could this make the one more up? So as I said, yen pairs looking like they're going to give us one more up in the next coming sessions. Let's see if we get a corrective structure here for entry on the 1 hour, and it is going to push to the upside. So watch out for the yen pairs for this upside, but they are not long-term moves. Okay, this may just be ending these corrective structures. And lastly, on the yen pairs CAD, let's have a look at CAD. Loading the CAD now. That is CADJPY, same. Expect a bit of a push higher. Let's see if we've got any kind of divergence as yet. We've got some divergence, so at some point, but this will mean, okay, this has already broken out of this corrective structure. It has already broken out of this corrective structure. So that slight push to the upside, I don't expect it to go all the way up, but it's indicating that we're going to have a slight push higher with the rest of the yen pairs. Let's see how this one goes on all the yens. Okay, now we can move to the pound pairs. Before we go to the pound pairs, let's look at silver and gold. Let's start with gold. Gold. Let's go daily on gold. So gold, we were looking for a triangle. Let's look at and see if will that triangle be valid or not. So we need to look at that structure. It has reversed, but not at the top boundary of the triangle. Let's have a look and see how this one is going to play out. Is this the reversal on gold? Let's have a look. Okay, if we're not expecting the reversal on the euro, gold may still have more upside. So the fact that it has made this what you want to call a bearish engulfing candle does not mean anything, because that has not changed the structure or shown any sign of reversal. Let's have a look at the triangle that we're looking at. We're still looking at this triangle here to do something like this. So we're looking for gold to at least reverse around the top boundary of the triangle, which is this one here. So you've got a move here that's coming from right at the top, coming to doing like something like this. And now we're looking for this to give us a structure like this. One, this whole thing becomes a triangle, and then we get a move to the upside. So the triangle looks something like this. A, B, C, D, then E, and then we go. Then you've got a simple ABC structure. Not an ABC in this case, it will be a WXY structure with your X being the whole triangle. Let's use the same color. A, B, C, D, E. So we've been buying gold since this what looks this like a corrective structure here was invalidated. I remember last year I was expecting that we're going to get this as a corrective structure, one more down, and then this move to the upside. But if we had done that and retested the low here, it would have been a different structure and not a triangle. So let's have a look if this triangle is going to be valid. If it is not, then it's going to be a different structure. Now we've got this candle here last week that closed here on the daily. Does that mean reversal? Doesn't mean anything. So we may still have a push higher on gold to the top boundary. Let's see what happens with the top boundary, then we're gonna update the structure. Okay, so that is what gold looks like. So we've got a pulsing move there on gold. Let's go on the 4 hour. Look at it on the 4 hour. Let's check the 4 hour. I think I'm loading a little bit slow here. I need to change something here quickly. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, it should be sorted now. It was a little bit slow, so it should be okay now. Let's have a look on gold. Silver. Let's look at silver. Oh, we're looking at gold in the 4 hour. So gold on the 4 hour, we've made a pulsing move. So this pulsing move is what I'm saying. It does not mean anything. This can be a corrective structure, and you can even get another one like that, but that will just become a three-wave structure like this. 1, 2, 3, and then a push higher. Let's see how this one plays out. Okay, so that is gold. So this will be taking us to the top boundary of the triangle. Let's see how that one is going to play. Silver, correlation with gold, obviously. So let's see, we've got also a pulsing move here. Interesting about this one is that it has broken, it has just retested the previous high. This may be giving us this structure here on silver. 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3. So let me draw it cleanly. 1, 2, 3 up, and then 1, 2, 3 down. 1, 2, 3 down, retest the low here, and then go the same thing that we'd be expecting in gold. So this one will be making a bigger flat corrective structure, making this a W, X, X, Y structure. Easy. So let's see if we're going to get that drop to the downside. That's silver. Now let's look at the pound pairs. Start with pound chief. Pound chief. So if you look at all the pound pairs, we looked at this breaking out here last week. Now it has broken as expected. It has made a corrective structure there, and now it's looking to go upside here. So if you can actually take this one here, and if it breaks here to the top, this one may be going for a move like this. So a bit of an upside on the pound pairs in the next coming sessions. Just have a look on the daily here on the higher degree. Okay, it's fast now. In the higher degree, you just be looking for this structure. 1, 2, break the top here before you get a reversal. So even if you're taking this trade here, you need to be very careful because it can just be completing this move here. Actually, this one even looks like a 5-wave move, like 1, 2. Let's clean this. This one even looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's see. You also have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Okay, if that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that means that is an A, B, C move. Okay, so let's have a look and see if this is not going to be the move to just break here and drop. We'll see the reversal signs if there's any. All right, so that's pound chief, pound Audi. Pound Audi, same. On the daily, we're looking for this structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now lower degree, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. I've shown this almost for 2 years now. 1, 2, 3. This has been building up since 2017. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're looking for the last move to the upside. Okay, so this becomes a W, X, Y, X, Z. Can this now do something like this? If we're going lower degree, we can even go down lower than the red, but we don't want to do that now. This can even do a structure like this, 1, 2, 3, making this one a move like this to go retest the top, becoming a 1 degree lower than the red, and then we get that drop that we've been looking at for the past couple of months. Okay, so let's see and how this one plays out in terms of the structure. Upsides may just be completing this big corrective structure. Okay, let's go 4-hour game. So in the 4-hour, we'll look to see if we're gonna get something like that and move to the upside. Okay, so there is no clear structure to trade here. Okay, there's no clear structure to trade here. We are looking for the pound pairs to go upside, so I don't expect that pound AUD will give us this move. Okay, which gives us this corrective structure. So rather you stay out of this one and trade pound CHF is clear, pound US dollar is clear. They're making nice flags. If you're looking to buy pound, I think you'd rather want to buy those ones. Let's look at pound in New Zealand as well. Pound New Zealand, similar. It's interesting that pound New Zealand and pound AUD are looking downside while pound US dollar and CHF are looking upside. So let's see how this is going to relate to each other. So this may be a corrective structure like this. Let's see if we're going to get a corrective structure here. There's a possibility that this has made this corrective structure like this, and this one is just making a pullback here, and we can do this and push higher. Because what we have here, the structure that we are looking at is this one: 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2, 3 back, and maybe another move to the upside before we get the drop. So this pound pairs corrections needs to complete still. That's pound New Zealand, pound CAD, pound CAD. Looks like it has made a pulsing move now. Correction. Okay, so we need to see what is happening with this structure. Is this now gonna drop a little bit further to the downside? This may be pushed by the CAD, okay, by the strength in the CAD. Let's see how this one plays out. But maybe we can get a move like this. Then this structure becomes something like this, right? Now, we're looking at this structure like this because of the theme of the strength in the pound pairs, okay? But this one is also not a very clear one. That's all the pound pairs. Now let's look at the euros. We'll start with the euro pound. So if we're looking at the strength in the pound pairs, that means that euro pound should drop. So you're looking for this one to go up there. We've got to move down here. You've got a corrective structure here on this one. That's telling you that we're looking for downside. At least to retest this level here. At least to retest this level here. So this is making now a clear continuation pattern that can be looked at as an expanding flat. Expanding flat and a drop to the downside here. You can be looking for this one to come here at this level. All right. That's euro pound. Let's see how this one plays out. Clear correlation, inverse correlation between euro pound and the pound pairs. Looking at the euro. All right, so this is what we're going to be looking at on EURAUD. Now remember, we're looking for a bit of strength on the euro, but now you've got this move here. You've got this corrective structure here. It looks like this. With the strength in the euro, this may not be going all the way down. But let's see what we get here. Are we going to get a corrective structure here and a move to the downside, okay, to continue this move? Okay, I don't think it's going to go down. I don't think it's going to go down straight like that because of the expected strength in the euro in the next coming sessions. Let's just have a look here. I just want to see what we're looking at on AUD US dollar. AUD US dollar, just to see what we're expecting here. Okay, so we're looking for Audi's a bit of a strength in terms of correction here. So if we're looking at Euro Audi, let's go back to Euro Audi. So if we're looking at Euro Audi, because there is expected strength in the, yeah, so this makes sense. So for this to be a corrective structure, there's a bit of a contradiction because now you're expecting, you've got Euro up and you've got Audi up. So this is the structure that we're going to be looking at. It's clear. We're going to look at this as a corrective structure and continuation to the downside. So let's look at this to correct and further downside here. Okay, so it's not just about correlation because you need to calculate the correlation coefficient as well. Because now you've got, you're expecting Euro up, you're expecting Audi up as well. So what drives? So you need to look at the correlation coefficient. What is the strength of the correlation in the last couple of days? Okay, so that is Euro Audi. Let's see how that one plays out. You're gonna need to wait for that corrective structure. Euro New Zealand should be similar. Euro New Zealand, a move down here as well. We've made a move down. Can this now be a corrective structure? I don't like this, that this is a pulsing move. So this could have made this structure like this to the downside, and now it's making a three-wave pullback like that. Correction here, opportunity to take it down. Okay, let's see if we're going to come and retest that level. So these moves that we're looking at, they're not big moves initially until this is broken. If this is broken, then you're going to get a big move to the downside. But I don't think this will be broken. It should retest and come back down here like that. That's Euro New Zealand. EUROCHF. So EUROCHF should just retest the low here. Let's see how this one plays out. Should just come and retest the low here. Remember, this is what we looked at on EUROCHF. We expected that this one will make a three-wave move to the upside like that. A move like that. Another move like that. There's different degrees there, so it could be making a structure like that. Now, remember, we're still looking for Euro up, so this one may be why we're getting Euro up, and then this one will explain why we will have this structure. So now that will explain this three-wave structure. 1, 2, and then you look for upside. Okay, for now, let's see if we're gonna start with a drop first, and then upside. This will make this corrective structure there. EUROCAD. There's not even divergence to show any indication of reversal there. Let's go to the daily. All right, so if you remember on the daily, the structure that we are looking at on EUROCAD, so this is still coming down. What you're looking at on EUROCAD, this is the structure. This is one. Looking at this as an expanding flat, and now it's coming down with this move. It's not giving an opportunity for entry because it looks very corrective like this. But at some point, there's a possibility that I showed last week that this may make a slight move like this, a fractal move like this one, fractal move like this one, before it completes this move to the downside. Okay, so let's see if we're gonna get that. That will be an entry to complete the last move here on EUROCAD. That's all the Euro pairs. Some of the cross pairs, if you look at AUDCAD, let's look at AUDCAD, still downside. Let's see if this is going to be a move down here. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this the impulsive move? A to the downside. I'm going to get this one to be a B like this and a move like this. For now, let's see this structure, if it's going to break out of this and come down, or if it's going to continue down. If it continues down, you can make this structure. So there's a number of possibilities that you can look at, but the one that is the right one will always confirm, and we'll see it beforehand. So this one can do this one here. Go back. You can see that the bias is still the same. It's just the nature and the structure that the corrective structure may take before it goes. This one can do this, and now this becomes a corrective structure. Let's just wait for it and let it play out. There's no setup here for a sell or a buy at this stage. Audi New Zealand, also we've got a pulsing move to the upside. We've got 1, 2, 3 back. Let's just do this here. We've got a pulsing move to the upside. We've got 1, 2, 3 back. 1, 2, 3. And then after that, we will expect a move to the upside. But even so, that upside may not come immediately. It may do this first. It may go for another 3-way move to the upside, 3-way move to the downside before we go. Okay, and then we get one more down, and then we go. So this will be a whole continuation structure. Remember, we're still looking for it to go to parity at 1. There's still a possibility for it to go at 1. So if it makes this continuation pattern, it will take us all the way to that structure. For now, let's see here in this degree. This degree is not complete. You may be getting this one to correct here and drop slightly. Okay, not a setup there. Right, New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD, we've got a pulsing move. We spoke about this one last week. We've got a corrective structure. This is a pulsing move. Let's do this one. It's a straight line. You've got a pulse. Now after that pulse, you're getting this corrective structure 1. I showed this one last week. I even showed how this form that this corrective structure can take, which is this one. A move up. I'll not do that. Let's make it a little bit thicker. A move up, a correction, a move up, making this expanding flat, and now it's dropping exactly as anticipated. Go watch last week's video. This is what we expected, that it's going to do this. Okay, now we're still expecting that. No changes, still valid. That's New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CHF. New Zealand CHF. Pulsing move upside. Correction starts. Correction again. Now this one needs to give us a corrective structure here. Let's see if it's going to stay here for a couple of days. It may give us a move like this. But even so, that will just be a big corrective structure. Remember, a correction is not only a zigzag, it can be any of the corrective structures that can play out like this. Let's watch and see. No setup here. Okay, and lastly, we can look at oil. But before oil, let's look at AUDCHF and CADJPY. So here, we've got a passing move. We'll get this one first here, like this. Is it going to reverse up with a pulse, or is it going to do this first before it goes? You need to watch that and see. Let's keep track on it. It's not going to happen in the next session, so there's still time to watch that. CADJPY, same. Pulsing move up, now correcting here. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what happens with this correction. We're still going sideways here. No new move there. No new setup there. Oil, still looking for strength in oil. 1 expanding flat in the middle there. Clear expanding flat. So oil still looking like continuation up to around the 60 level. So we're still pushing higher on oil. So keep buying oil for the next week as well, up until that level. Possibly up until the 61% retracement of this move. Okay, so strength in oil means downside on US dollar CAD and all the other pairs that have got the CAD as the quoted pair. All right, guys, that's all I had for you this week. Have a great week and good luck with your trading. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can get a notification next time I post a video on YouTube. Have a great week, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers. Bye-bye.